Imagine a world where the unbreakable heart of the Brisbane Broncos, the man who charges through defenses like a freight train from hell, suddenly stares down a $3 million golden ticket that could shatter his legacy forever. What if one whispered conversation in a shadowy boardroom just slammed the door on his wildest dreams? Payne Haas, the beast of Red Hill, teeters on the edge of rugby's ultimate betrayal, loyalty, or exile? Stick around, because this bombshell just detonated everything you thought you knew about NRL's future. Picture this: the roar of Suncorp Stadium still echoing in his ears from that euphoric grand final triumph, confetti raining like golden tears as Haas hoists the trophy, his massive frame silhouetted against a sea of maroon. He's 25, the undisputed king of the forwards, a Samoan warrior who's bled for Blues jerseys in Origin Wars and anchored the Broncos' charge to glory. But now, as the champagne dries and the off-season haze settles, a serpent slithers into paradise. Our 360, that rebel rugby uprising backed by shadowy billions from Barbados, dangles a contract so obscene it could rewrite his family star's $3 million a season. They whisper, enough to build empires, silence demons from a childhood scarred by absent shadows. His parents behind bars, 2 little brothers under his wing like fragile eaglets, his own 2 kids gazing up with eyes that demand security. Haas isn't just playing for pride anymore, he's fighting for a fortress against the storms that have battered his life. The Broncos, those loyal guardians who've nurtured him from raw talent to titan, counter with a heartfelt vow of $1.2 million a year, a path to legacy, even a cushy post-footy gig waiting in the wings. But as Haas jets off for a sun-soaked break, the air thickens with unspoken dread. Will the lure of instant fortune eclipse the brotherhood forged in blood and mud? And just when the tension coils like a spring, enter the NRL's Iron Fist. Peter V'landys, the Commission's unyielding sheriff, decrees that any flirtation with her 360 triggers a 10-year ban, a scarlet letter that would exile Haas from the game he owns. Fans hold their breath, hearts pounding. Could the man who embodies Broncos' resilience really walk away? But wait, here's the twist that no one saw. Barreling down the tunnel in a clandestine huddle with a fellow rep giant, Haas let slip the truth he's been burying. Loyalty wins? Or is this just the calm before a code-crossing cataclysm? The clock ticks mercilessly toward pre-season, and Brisbane's CEO Dave Donaghy pleads for clarity, his voice a mix of fatherly love and quiet desperation. Payne knows how we feel, he says, but does he? As Haas savors stolen moments with his fiancée Leilani and their wide-eyed brood, the weight of worlds presses down. Grand final rings glinting mockingly on his fingers, reminders of triumphs that feel fragile now. Whispers from the club escalate, no deadlines, they insist, but the unspoken ultimatum hangs heavy. Resign, or risk unraveling the dynasty alongside Reece Walsh, that electric fullback locked until 2029, dreaming of multiple rings etched with their names. Yet, beneath the glamour, Haas grapples with Ghost's family fractures that forged his ferocity, turning pain into power on the park. He's the gentle colossus who lifts siblings like their feathers, the prop whose charges shake the earth but whose heart quakes at the thought of uprooting roots. Our 360's pitch? A siren song of stability, they claim, but skeptics sneer it's fool's gold. From a league teetering on collapse, players like Roger Tuivasa-Sheck jumping ship while others balk at the void. Haas pauses, mid-vacation reverie, phone buzzing with Donaghy's patient check-ins. Enjoy your time, the CEO urges, but the subtext screams, hurry home before the dream dissolves. And in this limbo, a surprise detonates like a forward pass gone wild. 360's bosses, unflinching at his $3 million floor, postpone meetings amid rulebook roulette, buying time as Haas's camp probes the band's barbed edges. Is this hesitation a feint, or the first crack in the rebel facade? Fans erupt online, from Reddit rants to fevered forums, dissecting every syllable. Ban him now, cry the purists, while dreamers decry the code small pond, boss's voice booming that losing Haas would sting like a global gut punch. Yet Haas, ever the enigma, confides in Loue, his Samoan skipper, post-Pacific glory grinning through the grind, but I shadowed by what-ifs. The Broncos huddle, cap stretched thin but spirits unbowed, plotting upgrades to $1.5 million by 2028, a testament to their unyielding faith. But as Haas boards that flight back, the real storm brews. Will he stride into preseason as savior or specter? The decision looms, a fork in the road paved with premiership aspirations and perilous paydays, leaving us all dangling on the precipice. What if the beast chooses the unknown, igniting a player exodus that topples titans? Or stays, forging an era of maroon dominance? The air crackles with possibility, every heartbeat sinking to the thud of impending revelation. Aussie NRL update. Deep in the Broncos' war room, shadows dance on walls adorned with ghosts of grand finals past 1975's drought-breaking roar, 2025's fresh-won fire. Haas arrives, tanned and torn, the brakes bomb wearing thin against the barrage of brotherly pleas. Donaghy greets him like a prodigal son, maps of futures unfurled, pathways to coaching, commentary thrones, even community empires built on his unbreakable name. We're family, he emphasizes, voice gravelly with genuine grit, evoking memories of Haas's debut demolition, that raw hunger mirroring the club's own. But across the ocean, our 360's envoys simmer, their vision of a rugby renaissance fracturing under financial fog. Papenwizen's release a hollow echo, Lomax's loyalty a quiet rebuke. Haas listens, nods, the family man's calculus churning, $10 million over 3 years versus a lifetime of NRL immortality. Surprise strikes like lightning mid-conversation, a leaked whisper from V'Landys himself, offering a fireside chat to sway the scale, the commissioner's charm offensive laced with steel warnings. Think of the legacy, he might urge, but Haas counters inwardly with ledgers of lost siblings' school fees, kids' college funds, a safety net woven from warrior wages. The room spins with scenarios. Envision Haas in Barbados Blues, barreling through Union lines, a fish out of water phenom or forgotten footnote? Or back at Broncos HQ, scripting sequels with Walsh, their duo a dynasty's double helix. Cliffhanger tension mounts as Haas retreats to deliberate, phone silenced, family clustered close. Leilani's steady gaze his anchor, brothers banter a reminder of stakes beyond stats. Online frenzy peaks, memes morphing Haas into a fork-road philosopher, polls swinging wildly, 60% scream stay, 40% chant chase the cash. Yet in the quiet hours, Haas unearths an old photo of him as a kid, mud-caked and dreaming, Broncos jersey draped like a cape. Does it tip the scales? Or fuel the fire for fortune's far shores? Broncos faithful flood forums with fervor, tales of his tackles turning tides, his tries thundering like thunderclaps. He's our rock, one pens, tears blurring the screen. But our 360 retorts with razzle-dazzle, private jets, palatial pads, a platform to propel Pacific pride globally. Haas weighs it all, the rebels glitter against the game's gritty glue, his heart a battlefield where love and lucre clash. And then, the moment suspends time, a call from Maguire, the premiership mentor turned messenger. What do you need, mate? Name it. The offer swells subtly, incentives stacking like defensive walls. Haas exhales, the beast within rumbling. Will he roar for Red Hill renewal, or prowl new pastures, leaving a void that echoes eternally? The negotiation's next chapter unfurls in secrecy, but leaks hint at harmony upgrades inked, bans brushed aside. Or is this smoke screen for a seismic shift? As preseason drills dawn, teammates train with tentative hope, drills dedicated to the absent anchor. Fans fidget, fingers crossed, the NRL's narrative hinging on one man's monumental choice. Surprise ripples outward, reports surface of our 360 swabble, funding falters fueling Haas's fortitude. He's leaning loyal, confiding in confidence, the family fortress fortified by familiar fields. But hold tight, the final flourish could flip it all, a signature on sand shifting like quicksilver. Aussie NRL update. In the end, as dawn breaks over Brisbane's bruised skyline, Haas emerges from the cocoon of contemplation, decision etched in every etched line of his face, a map of battles won and burdens borne. The presser packs the room, mics like spears thrust forward, eyes hungry for verdict. He stands tall, voice steady as a scrum feed, I'm staying. Broncos blood runs deep. The eruption is seismic, cheers cascading like a try-scoring surge, tears tracing trails down weathered cheeks. Donaghy beams, V'Landys exhales unseen, our 360 stream deflates in distant defeat. But peel back the triumph, and the storytelling scars linger, the $3 million mirage that mirrored his mother's misguided gambles, the band's blade that blunted bold bids, the family's fragile thread he refuses to fray. Haas hugs his kin on the sidelines, kids clambering like victorious vines, brothers beaming with borrowed bravery. Wolf slaps his back, the duo's pact sealed in sweat-soaked solidarity, rings reloaded, runs rampaged, a reign rekindled. Yet the what-ifs whisper eternally, what if fortune's call had conquered, crafting a coda of controversy? The NRL exhales collectively, cap conundrums eased, but Haas's saga sparks broader bonfires, player power pulsing, rebel threats receding, the code's compact cracked open for candid critique. Fans flood the feeds with fire, legend locked in, Blair banners, podcasts pulsing with praise. Maguire maps the madness, molding Haas into mentor material, his charges channeling chaos into championship chases. Surprise lingers in the afterglow, a subtle clause in the contract, career cushions postpark, ensuring the beast bows out on his terms. As training torches ignite, Haas hammers home his hymn, ferocity fueled by roots, not riches. The Broncos barrel forward, bolstered, unbreakable, a tale told in tackles and tenacity, where one man's momentous musing mends the maroon mosaic. But in quiet corners, Haas ponders the path not pursued, a parallel universe where he prowls Union pitches, a pioneer or pariah. For now, though, the hook sinks deep, NRL's Colossus claims his crown, curiosity quenched but cravings for conquests ever circling. What's next for the beast who bent but never broke? Tune in, Tribe the update never sleeps. The ink barely dry on the richest front row deal in NRL history, $1.4 million a season locked until 2029 with performance bonuses that could nudge it past $1.6 million, and already the ground is shaking again. Whispers slither out of Red Hill like smoke from a backyard Barbie. Payne Haas has quietly inserted a player option for 2027. One single signature in 2027 and he can walk, no release fee, no negotiation, straight into the open market or, heaven forbid, straight back into the arms of a resurrected or 360. The Broncos swore it was never on the table, yet there it sits in black and white, a sleeping volcano buried in the fine print. Dave Donaghy calls it standard future-proofing, but rival clubs smell blood. Sydney power brokers are already circling, salary cap wizards crunching numbers for a 2028 feeding frenzy that could see Haas pocket closer to $2 million a season when the new broadcast deal detonates. The beast didn't just stay, he built himself an escape pod disguised as loyalty. And the scariest part? He hasn't told a soul outside his inner circle why. Is it insurance against injury? Leverage for the next pay bump? Or a promise kept to mysterious offshore voices that the door will crack open again when the time is right? The NRL world gasps, then leans closer, because this story just grew fangs. Aussie NRL update. Fast forward 3 weeks and the first training session of pre-season hits like a thunderclap. Haas barrels through contact drills with a snarl that rattles the goalposts, eyes wild, shoulders carrying an extra kilos of pure menace. Teammates swear he's added 5 kilos of muscle in the off-season, veins popping like cables under fresh ink, a new tattoo sprawling across his chest that reads "Protected by Grace, Driven by Ghosts." No one dares ask whose ghosts. Then comes the moment that sends cameras into meltdown mid-session. Haas pulls Reece Walsh aside, whispers something that makes the superstar fullback's eyes widen, then they slap hands with a crack that echoes across the paddock. Lip readers go berserk online, convinced Haas just said, "2 more rings and I'm out." Within hours the Clippers are chopping that frame into a million memes, Walsh's shocked grin frozen forever as proof the dynasty has a secret expiry date. Maguire refuses to bite when grilled, only growling focus on round 1 while Haas himself posts a single black square on Instagram with the caption "Watch me." The comments section explodes, 40,000 fire emojis in 10 minutes. Broncos fans swing between euphoria and terror, they've locked the king, but the crown now comes with a ticking timer no one can see. And just when the noise peaks, a bombshell leaks from the most unlikely corner. Haas's little brother Cleese, fresh into the Broncos system, overheard in the sheds telling mates Payne's already planning the family move to the Gold Coast in 2028. True? Troll? Or the first breadcrumb in a master plan that will tear the NRL apart all over again? Aussie NRL update. Here's the gut punch nobody saw coming. While the footy world obsesses over 2027 options and tattoo translations, Payne Haas is secretly enrolled in a sports management degree at Bond University, Gold Coast campus, starting February 2027. Same year as the escape clause. Same city as the Titans' multi-billion center of excellence set to open in 2028. Same city where his fiancée Leilani's entire family lives. Same city that will have salary cap relief the size of a small country once Cameron Smith and Harry Grant retire from rep duties and free up marquee allowances. Coincidence? Or the most meticulously mapped heist in rugby league history? Insiders swear the Titans have already stashed a war chest labeled Project Polynesian Wall that includes Haas, David Fifita reborn, and a mystery Kiwi prop, all front-loaded to explode the moment Haas hits free agency. The Broncos hierarchy are livid, claiming they were blindsided, yet sources inside the club admit Haas asked for, and received, full study leave written into his new deal. Translation: the club itself just paid for the education that could engineer their own downfall. As summer storms lash Brisbane and pre-season pain ramps up, one image burns brighter than all the rest: Haas, shirtless and ferocious, staring straight down the barrel of the camera after a brutal session, sweat dripping like war paint, and he mouths 3 silent words that send the entire code into cardiac arrest: "See you soon." The question now isn't if the beast will leave, it's who he'll devour on the way out. Stay locked, legends. The real war hasn't even started. Aussie NRL update out.